Hi there. Now, in the start itself, I am saying that I am not in the business of any virtue signaling, especially when it comes to geopolitics, because unfortunately, very unfortunately, the geopolitics is not working and was not working on basis of morality, on basis of virtue. So I am not in the business of saying that this party is right and this party is wrong. I am in business of what's wrong going on in the geopolitical diplomacy and wrong in sense of world peace, world order. So we know that there is a blockade of Kaliningrad. They don't call it blockade, but what Lithuania, the European Union and NATO member has done, that they have sanctioned, puts European Union sanctions upon the goods like minerals, construction materials, cement, etc., which is being transported to and fro from Russia to its own exclave of Kaliningrad. And we have talked about Kaliningrad in one of our previous videos. It is a you know, exclave of Russia, and it is sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland. Both of them are NATO as well as European Union members, so they are covered under the Article 5 guarantee of mutual defense. So, what Lithuania has done, they have blockaded the supplies from Russia to Kaliningrad and from Kaliningrad to Russia. Now they have said that they are doing it under the European Union sanctions upon Russia. But I have a question. The sanctions are for exports and import of a country with another country, but it never occurs. There are never the sanctions are there on internal transport of goods and services. And what's happening between Russia and Kaliningrad is their internal matter. It's an internal trade. It's a territory of Russia. So how can Lithuania blockade it? Blockade the transfer of goods and services from Russia to Russia. And any blockade can be considered as an act of war. So what if Russians take it or consider it as an act of war? They may go for two things. They may attack Lithuania, or they may also occupy the Suwalki Gap. We had talked about that Suwalki Gap, a narrow stretch of land in Poland, between Poland and Belarus, because Belarus is a very friendly country to Russia. And via that Suwalki corridor or Suwalki Gap, Russia can have direct access to Kaliningrad. So in that case, if Russia attacks the Suwalki corridor or Lithuania, then NATO has to come into picture, and then the boundaries of war will stretch out of Ukraine, and then you can understand. Then it can go for a third world war. It can easily become a third world war between Russia and NATO countries and America. So this is something diplomatically wrong, going against the concept of world peace. Now, if you look at the upside and downside of what is happening, what Lithuania has done, and definitely Lithuania can't do it without the green signaling of United States and NATO countries, Western countries. So they had got the green signal, then only they had done it. Now, if you look at upside, I just want to put a question. Does this blockade of goods and services, especially goods, not services, goods from Russia to its own territory of Kaliningrad, helps Ukraine militarily? Anyway, the answer is no, no, no. So what's the upside? I don't think there is any upside. But downsides I already talked about. Downside can be Russia. If what will happen if Russia attacks Lithuania? What will happen if Russia attacks the Suwalki Gap, which is a narrow stretch of land between Poland and Belarus, and supposedly, if Russia takes some economic action, and if Putin goes to nationalize 400 billion US dollar worth of foreign assets in Russia, then what will happen? So there are big questions and big implications of what has happened. And come winter, what will happen if Russia stops gas to European countries, especially the Western European countries, in one go? Then what will happen of inflation? What will happen of energy supplies? So these big questions are there, and they must be considered. And I think the Western Bloc is doing wrong by blockading the supplies of Russia to another territory of Russia, that is Kaliningrad. It is not good for world peace, and it has got potential to stretch the war, which is against anybody and against any country, vis-a-vis peace, vis-a-vis global order, vis-a-vis economy. Thank you.